Shout out to Sellerboard for being today's sponsor. This thing is massive. I don't know how we didn't catch this in the design phase. For those of you who follow my channel, you'll know that one of my top sellers is the SDS Station. Last month alone, it and its variations did sales of $11,619 and had a net profit of $5,454. It is by far my most profitable item. But believe it or not, that wasn't always the case. There was a time when this thing was losing me money every single month. Let me take you back to when I first developed it. Originally, I thought of making it out of metal because none of the competition was doing it that way. But after getting some initial quotes, I realized that metal was too expensive. So I switched it to plastic, and that reduced the price significantly. I told the CAD designer I wanted it to be big, real big. That way, after someone bought it and they installed it, it would be easy to locate. The CAD designer sent me the finalized designs, I approved them, and off they went to the manufacturer. Once manufacturing was complete, it was shipped to Amazon and sales started coming in. Life was good.
Great job!
But then I noticed something. Though sales were good, profits were not. I was losing money on every single sale. So obviously I did some digging, and that's when I realized what I had done. I had made a rookie mistake.
What did you do?
Well, I failed to take into consideration the FBA fees.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said, this product was big, unnecessarily big. And because of that, my Amazon fees were extremely high. So much so that the product was not profitable. See, in my exuberance to increase the size of the product,
I'm so excited.
I failed to take into consideration the increase in the FBA fees. For those of you who aren't familiar with FBA fulfillment, fees are broken into different tiers based on size. The larger the product, the more expensive the shipping tier. My product was so large that it was placed in the small oversized tier and was being charged $16.87 per sale. See how massive this thing is? I can barely even fit it on the camera. Let me turn it sideways. This is just way too big. This was bad. It was a good selling product, but obviously I couldn't keep selling it at a loss. So what could I do? I had a couple of options. One is I could raise the price. Sometimes this is necessary, but in this case, I didn't think it would work. Raising the price would have probably priced me out of the market. Another option would be to lower the cost. Like I showed you, this product was excessively large. If I could reduce its size and get it into a cheaper, smaller size tier, that alone could save me a ton of money. Considering both options, I moved forward with the second and started working on reducing the size. Doing that was pretty easy. The next tier down had a max size limit of 18 by 14 by 8 inches. So I gave these size requirements to my CAD designer. He redesigned the size of the station. And this is what he came up with. This thing is much smaller. In fact, the whole thing fits nicely in the camera. This is the much smaller, more practical version of the SDS Station. Instead of being 24 by 20 by 5 inches, the product is now below the 18 by 14 by 8 inch limitation. Instead of being charged $16.87 per unit, the cost went down to $8.37, saving me $8.50 per unit sold. And as a side note, I also saved another $1 in product cost by reducing the size of the product. In total, changing the size of this saved me $9.50. $9.50 is a big difference, and it only required a few changes to make it happen. As you know now, this is one of my most profitable items. If for some reason you're not making as much profit as you anticipated, I strongly recommend you look at the size tiers, and if possible, find a way to reduce the size of your product. You never know, you might be missing out on saving thousands of dollars, just like I was. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Diary of an Amazon Seller. If you'd like to see how much I made last month from Amazon, feel free to click on the link here. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please click here. Take care.